Well, hello, everyone. Really glad to see you here. I am thrilled to be able to introduce you to something that I don't think you've seen before. I really appreciate your time today. We'll make it short because I appreciate you carving out a few minutes to take a look at what I think is one of the best uses of AI in sales training today. My name is Bill Guertin, and I have an introduction to make of Gorilla RP. There will be a special offer at the end of this session as an incentive for you to be one of the early adopters of this new technology. So once you see it in action, I think you'll want to be in that group. Well, certainly we have all seen what AI can do to help write emails and create marketing campaigns and videos. But up until now, there hasn't been a significant advance in the use of AI to help managers train their sales reps, especially in real world situations that build new habits of success. It's really frustrating for leaders to hire new reps and not have the time or the budget to train them properly, or to give them the constant direction and feedback that they need on a continual basis. Most times a manager will give a few days of training, maybe some sort of a list to call, and then left their fend for themselves. It's nobody's fault, but it leads to sales reps feeling left adrift with no direction or coaching to help them in real time. Bad habits start to creep in, sales suffer, and the rep becomes discouraged and potentially sours on sports and maybe even sales in general. Role play exercises are great and they are proven tools, but they usually use young reps to play the role of the prospect. And inevitably, one of three things happen. And this has been my experience. The rep who's the customer usually lets their friends off the hook too easily, or they'll turn it into an improv comedy outline for the whole group so that it becomes this funny thing rather than a real lesson, or they simply don't know how a 45-year-old business person would talk because they don't have enough life experience to make it a credible exercise. So what if you could take out those issues and instead make it feel more like a game that you had to find the key to unlock, a way to practice the fundamentals and still get valuable feedback on what you did right and how you could improve, and do it without you as the manager having to be there? Well, it has been created and it is way more affordable than you may have ever thought possible. It's called Gorilla RP, an AI-assisted role-play tool that lets your reps go face-to-face with live, realistic role-play conversations with AI prospect avatars built from real ticket-selling situations. Gorilla RP uses the magic of AI to simulate a real-life conversation, either on the phone or in person, with dozens of different kinds of customers, whether it's personal buyers or group leaders, group attendees, corporate buyers, renewal customers, even 50-50 raffle buyers being sold face-to-face. These amazing voice avatars are created specifically to look for the kinds of phrases that move the sale forward, and each one will push back if they don't hear the right things. They raise objections, they stall, they put off buying decisions just like your prospects do. And unlike the role plays you do with your staff, these customers won't just give in after 30 seconds. As a rep, you've got to keep digging to find out what unlocks the avatar's buying motives before they'll move the sale forward. There are varying levels of difficulty that can be custom tailored for each team depending on your individual preferences and your sales team's seniority. Just like Rich Kuchar said, or Jeff Bogacki had said at the Chicago White Sox, that when we had it for his group sales, service, and premium departments, that it was a part of my live training that we had used this, and the addition of the new AI tool was great. It added real world scenarios that our staff found engaging and very useful, and they indeed got to their renewal goal. The 50-50 department of the Atlanta Braves, Aaron McCormick had me in, and they had a goal of $50,000 in ticket sales that they had to get for their Founders Day. And they crushed it. They sold over $60,000 using this tool to be able to help them as part of their training regimen. Well, I'd love to be able to show you how it works. And here are the three different elements to it. You choose a scenario from any of the 8 different avatars that you would have at your disposal. You then push the button to role play it in real time, talking back and forth just like you would with someone on the phone. And then after the call, you're immediately scored on 1 to 5 stars on how well you did based on Bill's AI brain that essentially goes through the call, picks out some of the phrases that I liked from the AI, and then some of the phrases that I would suggest that they incorporate next time. So every single chance that you get with this, it becomes a learning experience. I'd love to be able to show you how it works. And so let's dump out of this and let's get into the actual AI tool itself. This is Gorilla RP. So I'm going to use an example here of a gal by the name of Sarah. This happens to be from the Chicago White Sox. This was some work that they were doing to help their service and retention team to get renewals earlier rather than later on in the year, to try and avoid some of the issues with regard to some of the news that's going on. Well, this particular customer, Sarah, she's a smart, financially careful 3-year season ticket holder who has been following the labor news. And she doesn't necessarily want to commit to any sort of deposit until she knows for sure whether there'll be a 2027 season or not. So if you're the rep and you have this tool, you would have all of this preparation that you would get to be able to know how to prepare for this customer. And you can either do it via text, sort of like you would do with a robot or a chat bot, or you can do it with the voice text, which I prefer quite a bit. So here's how it works. Hello, is this Sarah?
Yes, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. It's Bill from the Chicago White Sox. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How can I help you?
Well, I'm glad you took my call. I wanted to get to you very quickly. I hoped you'd seen the letter that we sent out a few weeks ago about your season ticket renewal for 2027. Had you seen it?
Yes, I saw it. Before we get into renewal, can we talk about the labor situation? If there's a player's strike, am I paying for a season that doesn't happen?
Well, that's the million-dollar question right now. We are planning for a 2027 season no matter what. We're pushing forward exactly as if it were going on. We don't know exactly what will happen as their negotiations continue, but we are pressing on as if everything is just fine, and we're taking deposits a little earlier because we've had such a demand for tickets because of the year the White Sox are having. I'm sure you've enjoyed some of the games. How many have you been out to this year?
I have, but I just want a straight answer. What happens to my money if there's a strike and games don't get played?
Well, I understand your concern, and we hold that money in escrow until such time as we know exactly what's going to happen. Now, we've been very generous with people in the past in doing things like this. In fact, if you know anyone that was with us during COVID, we treated the fans very fairly with regard to some of the games that were canceled in terms of credits. We don't have a plan just yet because we don't know to what extent we will have any stoppage, if at all. But we are moving forward as if 2027 were a go no matter what. And we're making sure that our season ticket holders who really like their seats can stay where they are. Do you like the seats that you have now, Sarah, or would you prefer to be somewhere else?
I like my seats, but I need to know what the protection policy actually covers. If the season doesn't happen, do I get a refund or is it just a credit?
It would be just a credit at this time, but we have been very generous with our season ticket holders in years past. If you know anybody during the COVID era that was with us at that time, we didn't know what was coming at that time either, but we were incredibly fair with a fan-friendly package that got them more than they bargained for and a little bit then some. I think many of the fans in that year were very surprised as to how much credit we gave them once things started. And I can promise you that we will do the very same thing for you and those season ticket holders we value once we go forward. Sarah, can I ask, how is it you use your tickets? Who do you bring with you normally?
So just to be clear, if there's no season, I can't get my money back. It's only a credit?
That's correct. And while I understand that might not be the perfect scenario, it is the only way to be able to reserve those seats that you like for 2027. Who is it you come with normally?
All right, I just wanted to be sure. I usually go with a friend or two, but honestly, it's more about having a few nights where I can just unplug.
Yeah, I understand. A lot of people feel that way too. And I would expect that you would want that same sort of opportunity in 2027, right?
Yes, I would. I just need to know my money is safe if things go sideways.
Well, it certainly will be safe with us. There is no credit that we give back in terms of cash refunds, but your full credit will be with us when it comes time, and we will do more than our part to make sure that you feel as though you are welcomed and compensated for whatever happens as a stoppage or anything else of that nature might happen. But do understand that we're going to do all we can to make sure that you get what you need. The important thing we need to talk about today, though, is September 11th. That is the date that we're stopping to renew last year's seats. And if we don't hear from you by that September 11th date, your seats may go up for purchase by someone else who may have interest in them. So would you like to go ahead and reserve those seats for next year now while we have an opportunity?
I appreciate you explaining it.
Well, good. Then why don't we go ahead and get things done and we can move forward then?
I'm not ready to commit just yet. I want to think it over a bit more, given the uncertainty.
Yes. Why don't we go ahead, and I certainly understand that. Why don't we go ahead and make a date for Wednesday before the 11th? That would be on the 9th that we could chat. We can find out where things are in the labor negotiations, and you can pick up from there, and you'll have the very latest information from which to make a decision. Is that fair?
That sounds fair. Let's plan to talk on the 9th, and I'll see where things stand then.
Very good. Is this time on the 9th about right for you?
Yes, this time works for me. I'll look out for your call then.
All right, Sarah, thank you so very much. We'll talk soon, and go Sox.
Thank you, Bill. Talk to you then.
All right, so what just happened there? Sarah obviously wasn't going to renew today because she's very interested in what's going to happen with the labor negotiations. But what the AI has done is given me, as the sales rep, a rating of 1 to 5 stars. This time I got a 5 out of 5. Whew, good for me. I acknowledge Sarah's concerns. Now it also shows me how I can improve. And here it says, be cautious not to over elaborate or repeat information multiple times. So it sounds like I did that. Solid performance with a clear focus on addressing Sarah's concerns. What's interesting is it will pick out some of the quotes from that call that the AI, my brain, really liked. And they'll put it in words right here for the rep to be able to read, to be able to improve, and to show them what they really liked about their presentation. So in this case, I would have 5 stars. And then there are 4 others that we have in terms of the avatars that they can look at to be able to have other types of situations. And we have all sorts of situations that can be played undone in a customized basis for you and your team. Let's get back to the actual PowerPoint then, and we can go forward. So what your team ends up with, if you really look at this on a large scale, the kinds of things you can gain with Guerrilla RP. Lots of faster ramp up for new sellers. We all know that the more role play we can get, the better our reps will be. They're going to be more confident and close more if they role play more. The consistent coaching that happens is one of the most important things here. You're not dealing with someone who might be a variable in the case of a prospect. These are going to be people that will not move to the next step unless they hear the right words or phrases from your people. It's a safe place to screw up. You can get some examples of things that you may have should have done otherwise, and you can hit the button and start again. And it's a measurable growth process. If you start with a 2-star rating, your goal is to get to 5 stars, and it's measurable with their performance improving. The investment looks like this. There's a one-time customization fee of $750 to $1,500, depending on how complex you want your avatars to be. It's built around your organization, and you get up to 8 of them as a part of it. Some teams have a few for different departments. Others have it for their entire ticket sales team. All 8 of them have to do with ticket sales. It's entirely up to you as to how you make it work. The monthly subscription then becomes a matter of how many people you would have on the platform. If it was 10 users or fewer, we're looking at $600 a month for 12 months. And that includes unlimited text conversation and 80 minutes a month of conversation voice time. The way that the costs work on my end is that I use tokens from the 11 labs and the other people that we put together to make this AI cost. And the cost to me is the cost per minute of that talk time. So I price this based on the number of minutes per month. If you have 25 users, up to between 10 and 25 users, the cost is $11.50 a month for that 12-month period. And again, the very same thing, only instead of 80 minutes per month, you have 100 minutes per month per person. And with everything else we put in quarterly updates to your avatars. So the 8 of them that you start with in quarter 1 will be 8 fresh new avatars in quarter 2 at no additional cost. And along with that is full tech support 24/7 if something should need to be taken care of. As an introductory offer, I know that sometimes I want to be able to get a good jump on things, and many people have done that before with that software like this. You want to be able to get going, and you want to be able to jump it as a kind of a maiden voyage, and you want to give people an advantage, an incentive to jump on. And so I have given that. This is what I'm willing to do for a very limited time. For anyone that signs up between now and October 1st, I am willing to give you 2 months of Guerrilla RP absolutely free with any Gorilla RP subscription. Those months will be 11 and 12 of your 12-month subscription. And that has to be signed between now and October 1st. So you'll get 11 months or 12 months for the price of 10. Or if you choose to hire me, I use this as a part of my live in-person trainings with teams all across the US, Canada, and Mexico. For those who sign up for either a 2-day or a 3-day live in-person training date with me between now and October 1st, you'll get a bonus of 6 full months of Gorilla RP absolutely free. The clock starts right after my live training takes place, so you can choose a live training date anytime within the next 12 months. It just has to be dealt, and we have to put something in writing by October 1st for you to receive that 6-month trial. Now, I understand you may be thinking, what if I get in and it's not what I expected? Is there a guarantee? Well, there actually is, because I believe you're going to love this so much that I am willing to do this. If you're here today and can say yes to Gorilla RP by October 1st, where you reach out to me in some way and say, yes, I saw your video, I'm in, pay the customization fee and your first month. And if you don't like the program for any reason, I will refund your first month's subscription amount and you have no further obligation at all. Now, you'll only be out the customization amount, that's $750 to $1,500, but that's the only thing you'll risk by giving it a try. I can't be any fairer than that. I've built my reputation on trust, and I truly believe that once you experience this yourself, you're going to be as excited about it as I am. And if for whatever reason you can't decide today, if you schedule a live demo like this with me at the Calendly URL on your screen by that same date, October 1st, we will hold these bonuses options for you. But you have to schedule the appointment by the 1st in order to get that extension. Take that name or the address down. And I look forward to working with many of you here as we use AI to its best advantage for our reps and our industry, raise your revenues, lower your turnover, and create more happy sales reps than we ever have with Gorilla RP. Thank you for your time. I sincerely hope to talk with each one of you very, very soon.